Morning, everyone. Wow. What a market, eh? What a market. We've talked about how this market is begging for some good news. And what good news did we have? Really simple. Trump saying, hey, I never talked about firing Powell, which we all know is a lie. But nonetheless, it settled down the market. Yesterday, we go on a squeeze, and that remark at the close, and then further remarks saying we think we'll get a deal done with China, has led to us gapping up 550 points currently. All right, 3% up on the session after a squeeze yesterday. Not an easy market to trade right now. I think swing traders are having a fantastic time. Day traders probably a little bit exhausted if they're feeling like me. I'm finding this fairly tiring. The constant flip-flop, the constant lies, it's hard. You got to think Monday we broke down, finally got out of that range, and we are, we're pumping to the upside of that range right now. So enough talking. Let's look at the charts, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. This is a weekly, okay, weekly, bouncing off the lower ball on the weekly all the way up inside the old range, which I'm going to show you on the daily soon, and to that 20-day moving average. If we go down to a daily, it's a lot clearer. All right, so this here was the key level, wasn't it? Resistance, support, and then we broke down on Monday. Now, if sellers were going to step in, they needed to let this reprice on Tuesday and come in and slap it back down. And that was the move I was looking for, but it never set up. All right, it never came. And instead, all these sellers, when we gapped up, I really should have been thinking about buying on that profile. But anyway, we gapped up, we live and learn, and we move all the way up to the 5-day, closing at the 5-day yesterday. Now, I said if we get back inside this range here, if we close back inside, we're going to get into this dreaded chop zone. And this is where I didn't really want to be participating, okay, in here, because we spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, couple failures outside, 8th day back inside this chop zone, right? Tons of liquidity here. This to me now is saying failed breakout. Oh, there's a B. Failed breakout. Sellers failed to take control for that rotation. So I'm leaning more upside. All right. Now that we've closed back inside this range, I'm leaning more upside. The problem now is that this move here is already 600 odd points, 550 points. Hard to be along at this point when we've completed ball to 20-day. We need 20-day, 5-day cross to go up to top bowl, which by the time we get there will be this level of liquidity. That's where the market ultimately wants to go right now. Not today, not unless something majorly changes, but that's where it's trying to go right now. Because really what we're saying is this can be a giant W and this becomes possible. You can also see it as a daily flag, all right, trying to break out. So I'd like to be a buyer, but I don't really want to buy into these levels, right, into these key levels. So I'd like to be a dip buyer today. It's possible it doesn't let me have those buys because momentum is currently screaming upside. And we're going to look, if we can get these buys, we're going to look to try and trade upside to take out some of these players, all right? Some of these swing shorts, this is what it's trying to do. It's trying to achieve that. So how can we see that? We're going to see it more detail as we go down into an hourly. Here's our hourly. Okay, you can see here. This was the B shape that we gapped up on. I mean, you could argue that's double accumulation, but we're gapping up again into here, all right? And just drifting higher overnight. So we held the gap. Here's our gap, this gray box. Held this gap, and we filled this old gap, this gap from Tuesday the 15th. We're now filling that gap. Market's trying to be efficient here. Let's zoom in so we can see this nice and clear. Hopefully you can see it. All right, this gap from the 15th, we've now filled it. The question is now, how do we get up to these pain points? These swing, these swing short players here and here. How do we get up into those? Because I'd like to be a buyer, but the buyers from Asia have had all the nice move, like just straight trend up. And I don't want to be buying at the top here. So dips will be our friend today if they come in. Where will I be looking? I'd say 18,800 looks fairly key. All right, top end of overnight value area. this here, possibly. If it lets go of that, it's possible it comes and tests the lower end of Globex, and then we can look for that rotation. So 650s, so 800, 650s. If we get stuck, if there is a sentiment shift here, and this is nothing more than a pump, and we get stuck underneath Globex, there is a gap fill reversal down into here possible. All right. And that must be a covering point for you, because this is a big, big level on the daily now. We've broken out from there. We've gapped up. If it comes down here, you do not want to be looking for shorts under that. That's very, very dangerous. Really, I would think some kind of pullback to go higher would be nice. If they're really going to do this, that would be fantastic. Maybe they do something like this, but I don't think they're going to allow it to get down there. I really don't. I think bulls are in total control right now. Shorts are caught. So it's just finding a way to get long, to get up into some of these liquidity zones would be ideal. We might get a bit of a morning flush in the open. We're going to have to see. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to screamer higher. If we're going to go screamer higher on the open, it's going to be really tricky for me to get involved. I just know what it's like on these days. If we're going to go and take out sort of 15150s and even 200s, 260s, for a straight push upside, it's going to be very, very hard to join. Now, I'm probably going to just have to sit it out and let it shake out. Now, what I will say as a reminder as well is that we have news at 9:45, PMI number. If we think about this, this was Monday. That's that B shape. There's the reversal gapping up over it. Fairly normal distribution. We are currently opening right up here, right? Way above all of these. So any hold of these, likely to try and look for that drive high. I'd like to be a buyer on dips if it can set up. That's what my game plan is today. You can see, let's just make this nice and clear overnight. All right, how easy it's been for all these Asian traders. There's the gap. There's yesterday's close. Big gap up, drive up to the top of an old gap, find some sellers there, and then just flag, and we go, and we hold all dips. And you notice the lower time frame algo, and I probably missed this yesterday, and this is a faux pas on my part. And like I said, sometimes I make mistakes. That lower time frame algo has been holding since that Monday close. All right, there's a bit of an over under yesterday, but it's been holding. And when we're above that lower time frame algo and the flow zones are above it, we are trend bullish. It's very, very bullish, especially right when that lower time frame algo crosses the higher time frame algo, which happened yesterday at around 11 o'clock. And since then, momentum screaming upside. All right, that means hourly, daily bullish, hourly 15-minute bullish, 1, 2 minute, 5 minute all bullish. All right, everything screaming upside right now. So I don't really want to fight it, but I would like dips. I'm a value buyer. I don't like buying too high. So you can see what we've done overnight. Really nice trend. Lots of liquidity there, though, here, which has not been taken out. Want to be very careful. If it does something like this, it might come and take all these guys out before going up later in the afternoon or maybe even tomorrow. So I'm very, very aware of buying high today. Let's have a quick look at the mag. How are we doing for time? We've got a bit of time. Quick look at the mag and you'll see the same story across the board today. Big gap up on Apple. And it has targets. 212 will be the target on Apple if it gets going today. Microsoft, and you see the same story. Big gap up. Yellow line, remember, is the close. Big gap up, Microsoft. Big gap up, Amazon. Huge gap up on Amazon. 10 points. That's monstrous. Big gap up on the Goog. Trying to take out 58s for a squeeze higher. Meta, big gap up. Again, trying to take out 537. Takes that out. It's got to drive up to 557 possible. Nvidia, big old gap up. Reclaiming hundreds all the way up at 104s, 105s right now. Tesla, monstrous gap up. Again, earnings absolutely terrible for Tesla. But like we talked about yesterday, the key in all these earnings right now is going to be the earnings call afterwards. And that's exactly what allowed this market to drift higher. We knew Tesla was going to have horrible earnings. It did have horrible earnings, but Elon saying, hey, less time at the Doge, more time back with Tesla. Gave a little bit of confidence back into the market there. So that's what you're looking at for the Qs. We're looking for dips if possible. Same story on the ES. Target for the ES. Let's have a look. Liquidity on the ES, 485s, 5,500 ultimately. And if it gets through that 5,529, you'd look for dips to hold on the ES into 5,423. Lower side, 5,379. If it can't hold that, you'd be risk off. We're getting very close to these liquidity. Red blocks here on NQ, obviously the liquidity levels I'm looking for it to draw towards. Again, VIX breaking down. We talked about it yesterday. If VIX starts to break down underneath some of its key levels, if it lets go of 30, it probably had a drift down to 29.50 and then a drift down to 28.21, and it's let go of all of those. We're gapping down overnight, opening up here sub 28. All right, big snap once it let go of 30 like we talked about. Let's have a quick look at the ETF. Sorry, you're probably watching pre-market lows on the ETF. So QQQ, I'd be watching, a hold of 455s is bullish for sentiment for the day, and SPY a hold of 537.82s, somewhere around that, potentially bullish. If dips can hold, I'd be interested. Obviously, if sentiment changes, we got to be risk off. Not looking, for me personally, I'm not looking to trade before 9:45. That PMI number, I kind of want that to come out, get out of the way, and then we can settle into the day and see what's what. How long we got here? Couple of minutes here. Let's get through the chat, and then I'll have a little talk with you about everything else. Morning, Clint. Let's move this over here so I can see. Morning, Clint, Miguel, Jeff, Ramus, Jacob up one, Vince, John Dennis, Coop, Marek, Jesse, TR, Thumper, Phenom, Arturo, Kaladin, Richard, Christy, Peter, Aga, Julian, Leron, Brandon, Mindful Matters, John, Lucan, Andrus, Cat, Ash, Phenom, ERF, Michael Pope, Trentry, Brad Minix, MC Rod, Jack, Jeffrey, Andrus, Myron, DK, Mike, Array, Raphael, JJ, Aaron, Brian, DJ Noah, Juan Carlos, Omalabi1, Jake from State Farm, Andrew, and DPFDW690. Good morning, everyone. Any of you catch those longs overnight? Maybe some of you faded the early part of Asia. Did any of you catch those longs overnight? I'd be interested. A little update here. Apex is having a flash sale. It will end tomorrow evening, I think. Okay, so if you missed it, they currently have 90% off all accounts. If you like those bigger accounts, the 150K, 250K, and 300K are currently just $25. So absolutely amazing value over there right now. They do not have these sales very often. The 90% sales do not happen often. So if you're actually interested with Apex, make sure you understand the rules, first of all. Right? You have to be able to deal with trailing drawdown. Make sure you understand with the rules. But if you like the idea of trading with up to 20 accounts and you like Apex, now is a good time to load up. You can use my code FZT. Some of you will know in chat I currently took out 5 payouts this week from Apex. I've got another 10 pending, which I will hopefully put in before the end of the week. Traderify has a sale on. Now, they did do a flash sale yesterday for 35% because they have now removed their windows, their payout windows, so you can get paid out at any time. So worth being aware of that. Okay, worth being aware of that as well. And we're into open, right? 30 seconds from open. Let's get the glasses on so you can see what's going on. Morning, Emmett. Morning, Jeff. Some of you caught some of it overnight. John Dennis did. Nice work. Jeff Stewart, 2 trades overnight. Peter, good Asia London session. Nice work. Aga S, yes, the activation fee is $130. I mean, it's been $125 for like the last however long, but you know, I guess the best accounts there are the bigger accounts if you like trading with them. I have a mix between 150K and 50K accounts. Here we go. At the open then, I'm going to give you a readout here. Tesla, 7% up. Nvidia, just under 6% up. Meta, 6% up. Google, 2.76% up. Amazon, 6.5% up. Microsoft, 2.69% up. And Apple, 3.25% up. Market is bullish. It's in breakout mode. It is in squeeze territory, but we are up very, very, very high right now. All right. Almost 600 points up from previous day close. So I don't want to buy up here. If the market does not give me dips, it's going to be a bit hard for me today. I'm going to have to let it build out structure if that's the case. So almost swept that first level of liquidity we were looking for into 982s out the gate. So big drive out the gate there. And like I said, I'm letting this settle down. We've got PMI at 945. I kind of want to see what happens there. I'd love dips this morning if it's going to allow some dips. Interest in this level, but really I'd like lower. I'd like it to come and clean out a lot of this liquidity and find some dips this morning, but would not be surprised if it does not want to let it happen today. I really wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if it's just going to go flying up with those shorts from Monday caught. Probably got them adding into it more yesterday, and then we gapped up and now they're in pain. Claddon, you got a 50k trade fire yesterday. Nice work. In that extra 5% sale, maybe 35% sale. Having a quick look at the book, not a lot, not a whole lot on the book. A few sellers up at 19,000 right now. We talked about that yesterday. I said, if we trade back in this range, it's going to be tough. They're going to go and try and take out top side of the range. And the gap up is going to make it hard. So taking my time here. Tesla giving a little bit back. What were we, 1.5% up at the open, 7.5% up, and you can see it dropping 250s already. Those pre-market lows are going to be key in previous day high on Tesla. There's a big push up for a company which is having very bad earnings, but there you go. We don't always get the move. Sometimes it's already priced in and over-exaggerated. So Tesla pulling back aggressively right now. It's $7 off its high pre-market already. We'll just see if they catch some bids here. I expect the market is going to look to try and catch some bids this morning. Lower the better, really, so that we can be a value buyer. Morning, Lindell. Let's get that New York Open in as well. Already forgotten that, isn't he? Like I said, I'm going to wait this morning. I am waiting for that PMI number at 945. Market wants to get up into these. I will need some structure to buy off to be really interested. What we'll also do is an anchor VWAP off the open because we are heavily extended. So the old VWAP. Oh, where's the old VWAP? Where is my VWAP? It's gone. There we go. So overnight VWAP way down here at the 800s. And the squeeze continues. Here's 19,000. So if you're already in this long, you look good. And I'll be holding runners. Through 19,000, you're looking for that move into the 19,040, through that 19,080, through that 19,100s. And through that all the way up here into 300s and 400s. Ultimate target 400s if it can get up there. Just looking at the hourly. Yeah, ultimate target today will be 19,400. Any squeeze over that, you're filling a big old imbalance, potentially all the way up to 20,000. Don't think that happens today, but 19,400, if it really wants to get going today, is not out the question, especially when we think about what that would look like on the weekly. A break of 200, take out 400, and then we just sit in this. I don't know what this is. This can sit in this old imbalance. Again, I'm being patient here this morning, folks. I'm waiting for that 945. I don't want to be buying high, so I'm kind of hoping 945 causes a bit of a flush on the market, and then I can join in. Tesla really giving back here. $10 off its pre-market high now. So I want to see if buying opportunities come in at value later on in the day. I'm also not fully against the short. I don't really want to fight trend, but we know that we have all these stops to aim for. If it really wants to come all the way down here, it could do something like this before being bought up later. Right, so I'm not fully against the short, but it would be fighting momentum. But if it wants to clean some of these up, at least down into 800, it's possible. But I'd almost rather wait for it to get here and become a buyer. Yes, relative strength here, looking very, very good. SPY looking good. Q's a little bit more weakness at the open, probably because of Tesla. More heavily weighted in the Qs than it is anywhere else. So SPY looking for that trade down to view up here. Let's see if they hold the view up on the SPY here. Starting to get weak here, coming back down to that New York Open. If we start letting go of New York Open, there is the potential for that trade back into Globex like we talked about, which looks like it's starting to try and form here. So they either need to catch this or we're going to trade into Globex, I would say, one or the other. Some profit taking overnight by the looks of it. Hardly surprising, is it, given how much we were up, almost 600 points. Like we said, the gap very, very large. So if they rotate this, we might come down into 18,860s, 18,800s, that kind of level. And then I'm interested to see if they start buying off those levels or not. If not, then we can go for Globex low. So this is everything we talked about pre-market. Big level here. Really, I like the looks of this. Definitely like the look of down here, but somewhere here or here, interested how it reacts. But ideally, they just flush it and we base down there and we wait until 9:45. I really don't want to be a participant in this market before that PMI number comes out. Yeah, all of tech starting to pull back. I mean, it's just a pullback, nothing more. Remember, we were up huge. It's like I said, I don't want to be a buyer at the open. I want this to pull back into some levels where we have some structure. I would say if you're watching the ETFs, those pre-market lows will be important, and they've already absorbed it. Oh my gosh. What the bloody hell is going on here? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How are you supposed to be playing in this market with these kind of moves? What the flipping heck is that? Just a casual 100 point. That happened in a matter of seconds, not even minutes. Got to be news hitting here. Fed Waller does not comment on the outlook of monetary policy. I'm not seeing anything else. This is ridiculous. ES almost taking out 5,500 straight away. I'm just hands off here, folks. This is not a market I'm interested in trying to play right now. It needs to calm down and settle down. Breaking: White House considers slashing China tariffs and de-escalate war, says Wall Street Journal. I mean, thanks, Wall Street Journal. Why don't you just shut your mouth? Because unless you've got actually someone saying it from the White House, just be quiet. You know, you can see, I've never seen in all my years when a paper says something that we do 120 plus point rip. What's this? 920. Yeah, this is ridiculous. 200 point ripper because a paper puts a headline out. It's crazy. It is crazy. That's the market we're in right now. It's so desperate for good news that even a little headline from a newspaper, an online newspaper, can make us move 200 points. Now, just bear in mind, you go back 4, 5, 6 months, 200 points was our range on a day. And it just happened in seconds. So I'm really not interested in this right now. Not interested at all. ES, got very, very close to that 5,500 level. Pushed all the way up, being sold into there. People realizing, hey, this is just what a paper's saying. This is not a statement from anyone from the Fed, from anyone from the White House. And they're now saying China tariffs likely to come down to between 50 and 65%. I mean, I think most people kind of had an idea that that was going to be the case. It couldn't stay at 245% forever. Trump trying to call everyone's bluff, and he's just full of it, as we all know. So let this settle down, folks. I'm not in the mode to gamble here, which is what I think trading this right now with this kind of range is. Let this settle down. Need the ATR to settle down. That ATR spiked right up to 140 points. Let it settle down. Yeah, Lyndall, it's very frustrating. I do think there should be some legislation against that. You know, there's a reason. There is a reason why we have news hit 8:30 pre-market, 9:45, and 10 o'clock, not 9:30, and that's the reason, because the banks and institutions need to get through their settlement. They need to get through market on open, and they can't when things like this happen. So, you know, I've talked about this. Trump has a habit at the moment of talking the moment Sunday opens, the moment 9:30 opens. There needs to be legislation against it. Just shut your gob, everyone, and let the market do the market things. And you focus on your politics, maybe after half an hour or whatever. All right, you've got 3.5 minutes here until we get that newsprint, folks. Just be careful. Be careful. Like I said, I'm not interested into actioning anything until we get through that. Tesla trying to reclaim 250 here. Looks good for a squeeze higher here. I'm going to be honest, looks good for a squeeze higher, but again, this is a gamble right now. The size of these candles is absolutely monstrous. You're probably going to need 100 odd points risk right now. It's not Trump bashing, is it? It doesn't matter if he's Republican, Democrat, if it's Trump or someone else. You should not just be running your mouth constantly and flip-flopping. It hurts the economy. It's got nothing to do with the individual. If you're going to be sensitive, by all means, you can leave the stream. No one's forcing you to be here, Noah. Hilarious. I am just trading. I'm calling what's happening in the economy while we're moving like that. I've never said put him in jail. Not once have I said that. I don't care who anyone votes for. I've got nothing against that. You can vote for whoever you like. I'm just calling on what is dangerous for the economy. And by all means, ignore the comments if people are talking. I'm not reading the comments. All right, we're still watching that 5,500 on the ES to see if it breaks through that. If ES is going to break through that, it has a rip higher to 520s and 530s. Same thing here. We're building out liquidity here. This is very, very dangerous here. It can squeeze up equally. If that PMI comes out, it can come all the way down here very, very quickly. You've already seen what happens on one tiny headline. Imagine PMI is a big miss or something. Can very, very easily happen. Can also be a nothing burger. So I'm just waiting for everything to settle down. Well, I would agree with Noah there. I'm not reading all the chat, but if people are being negative and overly political, please stop. I don't disagree with that if that's what Noah's talking about. But I will continue to talk about the economy and the comments, not the comment section, as in news comments. Watching the ES carefully here. It got very, very close to a big swipe, and it's trying to rebuild here. It looks good for a squeeze up here on the ES. I'm going to be honest. It looks pretty good here, how it's building again. News coming in 30 seconds here, folks. There's a reason they're dancing in the middle of this range in New York session. It's so that they've got both sides trapped, and they will probably swipe at least one, if not both. Book's thinned out. Everyone's left the book now. No orders on the book. Starting to thin right down. Biggest order on the book is like a 30 lot at 19,000. It's not a lot of size. 10 seconds. They are stacked bigger down underneath. Looking to catch a swipe, I'm guessing. Here we go. Is this going to be a nothing burger? Haven't seen the print yet. I haven't seen this news print. PMI is not hit yet from what I've seen. Here we go, starting to come through now. 50.7 versus 49. No big miss there. Might be a bit of a nothing burger, this. 51.4, forecast 52, previous 54, somewhere in the middle of those. ES looks good for that drive up. They're trying to force the squeeze here. Again, it's going to be very hard. If they're going to go straight up today, if all we get is this dip to here, followed by a huge rip up, it's going to be very hard to participate today. I'll be waiting for a giant bear trap, I think. Yeah, it did. ES traded right up to it. 5,496, almost hit 5,500 like we talked about. That will probably be a good over-under level if we start breaking above. VIX also rejecting sort of 2840s. If VIX breaks down here underneath the lows, we can keep going. Market's just trying to settle down here. I agree, Mike. Yeah, very, very risky. I'm not interested really in being a buyer at supply, which is where we currently are. I'm going to actually delete some of these old levels because these I'm not really interested in now. Traded through them. Market wants to move higher, but the hardest thing is, I think at this point here, had they not come out, Wall Street Journal, there was a good chance to trade down here, and then there was the possibility of getting long. But after we do that, it makes it very, very hard, and the market now trying to settle down. Remember, that all happened, this is your opening 15 minutes, that all happened while they were trying to get through their imbalances. It made it very, very difficult. So institutions will still need to get through their orders right now, because I doubt they got everything filled with that news that came out. Talk about timing of the news. We had the same thing yesterday. I forget who it was, what Fed member was talking at JP Morgan. Some of you might have seen. Someone placed a huge options trade before they walked on stage at JP Morgan in some way, way out of the money calls, and made I think it was like $2 million in a matter of seconds. I posted it in Discord yesterday. So lots of inside trading happening right now. Yeah, I have TPO levels on, but I only use them in the New York session. So right now, you know, we're not even 30 minutes in. So all it shows you is a 200-point range gapping up. They're down here, right here. Not much use right now. If we're gapping up, we're up 690 points right now. So and that's away from value area high yesterday, and point of control was down at 18,400. So not much use to us, those old TPOs down there. We filled an old gap. We're holding that old gap in 18,950. This trade here probably was into the upper side of that old gap, 950. So here we're holding that old gap, and we're in a drift higher right now. This thing just wants to scream higher. $196 points so far this morning in that first 20 minutes. Most of it was done in the first 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. No, my closing price is 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I'm only interested in that 4 o'clock close. Why do I only use the New York session, and my videos on trading psychology help me a lot, man? Oh, you're welcome, Johnny. New York session because that's where most of the volume is traded. If I'm using the SVP and market profile, I can look at overnight sessions. Right, so overnight session right now, if I'm using volume, I can see value area high currently 18,920s, basically the top of this old gap. But when I'm using TPOs, I'm more interested in the New York session because it's where most of the volume's traded. If I run that through the whole session, obviously it's going to show me 23 hours of data. It becomes less and less useful. Everyone just calm down in chat. Let's just calm down in chat. All right, looks like we're trying to build higher. This is the target if it's going to get going today. I'd say first target, we're kind of up there now, 19,100, then 19,150s, and then, trading views annoy me today. Let's make sure this is nice and tight, 19,260. Again, I need some sort of dip. And if that's it, I'm going to sit here twiddling my thumbs. I need some sort of dip to play today. Either that or we break out and we do some form of building liquidity to go back up. What I don't want to do is just be buying high all day long. You would now be buying 728 points higher than yesterday's close. It's very hard for me to consider pulling a trigger here. Douglas Eastern. Whenever I'm talking about any time, I'm always talking about New York time. Eastern. Here we go. ES finding some selling in front of 5,500. We want this dip as far down as possible. Flush everyone out. The lower, the better right now. This is strong selling coming in here. And if they absorb this, who knows? But right to VWAP, finding a bid off VWAP. Again, I'm not in a rush today. This needs to be absolutely clear that one side's trapped for me to trade. I'd rather play the long side on dips, deep dips. Like I said, it's possible to join the bear side if it starts to show for that trade down to 18,850, 18,800. If it really starts to get really weak, maybe all the way down to 18,620. But really, I'm looking to join dips. I really want to join dips. Yeah, just practice sitting on hands, Brad. Don't be forcing it. No trades for me today. I'm just sat here waiting. Like, if it sets up, we'll get something nice. But like I said, the traders having the most fun right now are probably the swing traders. Anyone who is long from yesterday, long from the close Monday, even long from, you know, Asia session are having a lot of fun right now. So far, holding that New York anchored VWAP. Not breaking 5,500 yet on the ES. Come into it twice now. Next time up there probably breaks. Oh, what a boring day. Let's see. Come on, down you come, market. Let's have some sensibility. VIX starting to perk up here, reclaiming 28s here. I'd say 28.40 and 28.80 key on the VIX today. Trade through 28.80. It's got a gap fill potential above. Exactly, Peter. Deeper the better. Flush all these early buyers out. Would be nice if all the New York buyers get flushed out of this market, and then we can put in some sort of W shape or inverse head and shoulder for a retest of some key structure. I'm interested. This level here, I'd say, is fairly key. Sort of here, somewhere in there. Down here, even better. And we'll see how we go. Hopefully, we don't do these moves where we move down and we instantly move up 200 points, because that's it's going to make it very, very hard. But actually, deeper the better right now. I actually think we're moving into a bit of a sell here for a move down. Letting go of 19,000, that whole number, fairly key here. No one on the book. Getting bored of looking this book with like 5 and 10 lot orders on. Yeah, New York opens all the way down here. Little way to go. SPY finding a bid on VWAP. QQQ finding a bid on VWAP. And the ETFs are driving this market right now. Cash players driving this market. Again, I'm still sat on my hands. I'm just not interested right now. Of a 200-point range at the highs without taking all the liquidity above. 5,500 got tapped pretty much twice on the ES without swiping through that whole number. They're defending it so far. Market is bullish. We are up very, very high. I will need some form of bear trap for me to really consider getting involved here. Yep. Thank you, MC Rod. Home sales, 10 o'clock. You're right. I just find it crazy how quickly this market is desperate for good news. If a headline from Financial or from Wall Street Journal can move the market that quick, I cannot imagine what happens if Trump comes out and confirms that. If he's like, yeah, we're doing a deal 50% when we priced in over 100, 150% tariff. We're going to go absolutely bonkers to the upside, probably. He's not scheduled to talk today, though, and there's no sign that he's done any deal with China. He said yesterday he wants to do a deal, but there's no sign that a deal's been done. So it's all speculation so far. A bit like when we had that fake news a few weeks ago. We had fake news about the pause. And then he said, we're not pausing. And then 2 days later, we paused and we absolutely ripped. I can't remember what we did that day, like a couple 1,000 points, I think. Market was up like 11%, 14% at highs, closed up 11%. So you've got to be careful. It's why you need hard stops in this market. If you're the wrong side of that trade and news hits, you will get hurt. Imagine you were short here for a breakdown. And that Wall Street Journal headline comes out and you didn't have a hard stop we talk about all the time, you're getting run 150 points there. Just in a range here this morning. If it wants to consolidate, it can. We're in nothing more than a range. NQ trying to hold New York VWAP. QQQ above its VWAP. SPY above its VWAP. ES above its main VWAP. Home sales hitting in 10 seconds. There we go. Looks like it wants to run the highs here. Can it get going? Whoa, and there we go. The answer is no for now and absorbed. Like I said, I'm really not interested. Look how janky this is. No way am I trading this. Oh my gosh. And to the highs we go. So there's a swipe. Still hasn't taken out 5,500 on the ES. It got up to 5,499.75. I'm assuming there's a big seller up there. No, hard stop's just like a stop that you have in place, Andrew. Some people have mental stops where they're like, oh, if it gets here, I'll click close. I mean, you can't react to candles like this. New home sales actually 0.724 million forecast. So more home sales than anticipated. A lot more. Change month to month, 7.4% versus a forecast of 1.3% and a previous of 1.8%. So lots more home sales taking place. Impatient people getting smoked? Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I have zero interest in trading this. Zero. Yeah, the more, Andrew, definitely the more units you have, obviously, with stuff like this, you get slipped. Like the market right now is trading at like a 2-3 point spread. So the difference between the bid and the ask. But like when we start to open up, you will see, like when we start to open up, you will see like you have, say you're a seller here and you have a stop here. And that stop is a market order stop. You will get filled up here because by the time it actions it and the spread's big, you get slipped. So you'll be very, very careful. Hopefully not you, Raphael. Hopefully not you. I am trading zero. Absolutely not interested in this. No way. Remember, we trade for freedom, folks. This either gives us nice, easy trades, A+ setups, where we can make some money, or we just leave it alone and come back the next day. Let everyone else get wrecked in these markets. Great example of staying focused on your system and setups and not being swayed by big, huge market moves. It's essential skill. Thanks for modeling such an excellent discipline. Low emotional reactions. Hey, Tim. Thank you, buddy. Never knew new home sales important enough to cause a spike. Well, do you know what it is? It was a big print. Normally, home sales come in very, very close. That was like a 6% print off. It was a big, big miss. So much more home sales. You would think if people are willing to sell their home, suddenly we'll get 7% more than people, or 6% more than people anticipated across the country. It means there's that many more buyers in the market, which means they're happy with current rates. Right? If they're willing to sell their home, they're happy with the rates, because it also means people are able to get mortgages. Yeah, 5-minute ATR currently at 51. The high ATR on the day is 150. No, sorry, that's a lie. Yeah, 156 points in 1 minute, which was this one here. That's the highest ATR on the day I have. Just wait. Just wait. Remember, ES still didn't take that. It did swipe liquidity, but the fact that it didn't take that whole number, it missed it by one tick. 5,499.75. I'm assuming there is a massive order up there. I can't see why it didn't go up there otherwise. Either that or there's some fun kind of wall on the options chain. VIX new low of day, right? You would expect this market to be trading upside right now. New low of day on the VIX here. So we've got a bit of divergence in this market. VIX trading downside, market trading sideways / downside right now. Here it goes. Market trying to find a bid here as the VIX trades lower. If we're going to go risk on, we should be trading upside. Book's so thin, man. Biggest order I see on the book right now is a 56 lot. That says something, doesn't it? Up at 150. Again, I'm just not interested in this. Adam, yeah, I would agree. Recently, I would absolutely agree with you. Recently, I would say overnight has been cleaner. Why? Less news. This is what I was talking about at the beginning. Like, when I was not attacking one individual, but like, there's too many headlines. There's too much fluff. There's too many people talking at the open. There's too many people coming out with fake headlines and then changing their mind. It doesn't matter whether that's the president, whether it's Jerome Powell, whether it's the Fed talkers yesterday, whether it's Wall Street Journal, whether it's JP Morgan. Everyone wants to put their 2 cents into the market at the moment. And because we are so thin in this market and so scared and dying for some good news, you're seeing this kind of action. Whereas overnight, everyone's asleep and it trades much, much nicer at the moment. And that's probably why it's not reacting off much. We got the comments from Donald after the close yesterday. So we gapped up and then all we did was give a pullback to go long. Real simple. Sentiment was up because Donald was saying, hey, I want to do a deal with China and I'm not going to fire Jerome. Right? That was enough for the market to say, okay, we're going to go upside. That shows us some stability in the market. All the market wants is some stability, something normal, something so we can price in ahead. Remember, the market's always forward looking. We want to price in ahead. So if we don't like what we're hearing, we're going to price down. If we like what we're hearing, if we think there's stability, we're going to price up. Phenom, almost all the money I've made this week has been with the Asian market. It does not surprise me in the slightest. Imagine a lot of traders have already walked away today and thought, I'm not trading this rubbish. And I don't blame them. Besant now speaking. It was Besant that was talking yesterday that moved the market. Still looks good for an upside move here, but like, how do you trade this? You know, if you're buying now, you're going to have to risk 70 points lower into that swing point. And if it swipes that swing point down there, it can quite quickly come down to low of day. So I'm just not interested until this market calms down. And it might not calm down today. This might be a tomorrow trade. It would be all right. Like we go through these periods where this happens. And then it will settle down. Like I said, this won't happen forever. It will not happen forever. This market will calm down. We've gone through stuff like this numerous times before, whether it was COVID before, whether it was when Sleepy Joe was in and people started losing faith, you know, whether it was like wars in Iran and Iraq. Like we go through these periods and then eventually it calms down. Still holding VWAP here. Like I said, it's still got a chance for an upside move here. It's just a little bit ugly. But sentiment is higher. Here goes VIX breaking down. This market should be ripping upside right now. I'm going to be honest with you. It's exactly what it should be doing. The way we look on the higher time frame now is very, very good. Should be driving into these levels right now. Should be holding for drives, holding that overnight value area high, basically 19,000 for drives higher right now. That's what it's trying to do. But we have swiped. This is one level. If it can't get up and do this, it will rotate. But really, it's built enough here. Why are you not deleting anything? Oh, we've got issues again on TradingView. Fantastic. It should be trying to do this right now. There you go, Willa. So more people want to stick their oar in commenting on what's going on. Well, at least it's, it's gone 10 o'clock now. So markets managed to get through its imbalances, you would think. If China wants to play a role in the global economy, then the nation needs to graduate up. I don't know what that means. I mean, it's kind of like, I find that laughable. If China wants to play a role in the global economy, I'm pretty sure China plays a major, if not the biggest role in the global economy. I'm just saying. Pretty sure. It's the biggest, has the biggest GDP in the world. More products bought from China than anywhere else in the world. I'm pretty sure it has a major impact on the global economy. Funny comments. China can start reform by moving the economy away from export overcapacity and moving towards supporting its own consumers and domestic demand. All right, this is just all American-led, hoping that Americans can start to produce the amount of products that China are producing for its own country, which is not, it's never going to happen, guys. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. There's a reason big tech produces out there. It's called child labor. Yeah, exactly, Lee Kim, exactly. Temu, what are the other ones? Wish, I don't even know if that's still going. Alibaba, DHgate, they're never going away. Shein, yeah, they're never going away. Totally, Gus. Totally, Gus. It is. When you break it down and you think about it, right, it's not China's fault, is it? Which companies moved their produce over there? American companies. Nike, Reebok, Apple, like anything. They're American companies, right? They're NAS 100 companies, all moved over there, or SP500 companies. They moved their produce over there. They forced the issue to give the American public cheaper products so they could produce it cheaper and increase their margins. How's that China's fault? How is that China's fault? The legislation should have been made in America to not allow companies to do that. So China did it. They earn money. They reinvest it in their own economy. And now we blame them. That's the truth of it. No one wants to talk about that. But that is the truth of it. Well, it's very... BU, what's weird, right? It's a bit like... for me, it's a bit like England leaving the European Union all over again. Everyone was like, they're taking our jobs. We need to vote leave, blah, 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 blah. We leave, and then all the jobs, which like were heavily occupied by like Polish and Hungarians and, European Union on the Eastern Bloc that would come over. No Brits took those jobs because none of them wanted them. So what happened? Well, our GDP went down. We started producing less product. Any low-hanging fruit left? I don't know if I'd call it low-hanging fruit, but up here. Up here is where it's trying to trade towards. But we got to remember, we're up 700 points. So we get up there, that's a 1,000 point move. We get up here, that's a 1,000 point move. That's where it's trying to go. But you got to ask yourself, do you want to trade this right now? Not really. I would like to trade, if these all get wiped out and we do something like this, I don't mind trading that for the drive back up. But I'm not trading this. Yeah, Andrew, I mean, that's what they're saying. Bring business back to the US, but what's the reality of that? Is that actually going to happen? Can you actually see people in, Kansas and Austin, making the iPhone in factories? They reckon at the price with the tariffs, if you left that 145% tariff, it's going to cost, the iPhone would need to cost $3,800. If you made it in the US, the iPhone would cost $3,400. It's still ridiculous either way. But we'll see. Time will tell. At the end of the day, they'll just do a deal. They'll do a deal to bring more money into the economy. I don't think it would be about product being produced as much. But we'll see. Time will tell, won't it? Like, I'm not an economist. I don't know anything. I'm just an idiot on YouTube trying to make my living trading. Way above my pay grade. If I could make a living playing Call of Duty, I'd make a living playing Call of Duty. But I'm shite at Call of Duty, so I'd much rather do that. Or anything else. If OnlyFans was good for men, maybe I'd do that even easier than doing this. This is hard work. This is way harder. I'd much rather have people paying me to take my top off. That'd be fun. Adam, I moved here and my wife took a job. Don't ask who she works for because you'll laugh. Apple. All right. Looks like we're getting that wash. Here we go. Here we go, down to the midpoint of this opening range. If we start breaking down here, maybe we go all the way back to the opening range low and New York low. We know buyers have stepped in here numerous times today, but like I said, I'd like this much lower if I'm interested. VIX trying to find a bit of a bid here. All right, VIX broke all the way down to 27.30 and has found a bid. Traded all the way upside now to 27.85. Bit of a shelf here on the VIX at basically 28. So I'd say 28, it reclaims 28, we go 28, 25, 28, 35. It reclaims that, we go 28, 72. You're starting to see the VIX really pick up upside here. So maybe they're going to go for a wash here. Look at that VIX, it's absolutely ripping. These are the key levels now. This is where the market found bids earlier today. SPY already underneath the VWAP. QQQ at its VWAP right here. There is a potential for a trade to back down towards the New York Open and opening range low here if it's going to let go. Big if right now. You're just trading sideways in range. There's not much momentum in here so far. I would not be surprised to see something like this happen, and if it lets go of this, and then maybe it finds a bid. If not, it goes level down and then tries to find a bid. But really, you're boxed in. This is your box right now. Nothing below, nothing above. Right? Failures above, failures below for now. But like I said, I would not be surprised to see this return back down here right now. They've had numerous chances to send it upside. Here goes VIX into 28s. This is what I was talking about. If VIX reclaims 28s, it can trade upside here to 28, 50 potentially, and then I think you see downside pressure on this market. Again, the book is thin. Sitting here in the middle of crap. Exactly, DJ Noah. I agree. What I would say, well done for keeping your head today, because if that was aggravating for you in the morning, which I totally understand, if you've managed to sit in your hands and not trade, then you're doing very well by, just being honest with yourself and being calm. Important to do that when things can agitate you. Things outside of trading can agitate us all. We're human beings. Do I have some videos on your channel of how to size positions for NAS? Just moving from 4x to NAS. Just purchased Apex with your discount code. What's the best position sizing for 100K? You have to do it based on the ATR. Yeah, the ATR is what will dictate that. I would say if you're trading with 100K, 3 to 5 micros is plenty right now. VIX rejecting 28s there. Traded all the way up to 28s, finding some pressure there on the VIX. Again, I'm really not interested in this market until it makes a decision. You guys are funny in chat. What do I think about long-term investing right now? Good time to buy ETFs. If we're going to hold these pivots, yeah. I mean, I still think plenty of time to be buying. Too early to say. If they start cancelling tariffs and stuff or pausing them, then yes. Too early to say right now, though. Retesting these lows, there might be a breakdown here coming. What is the size of these candles? Are they going to go for that New York low? ES trading back towards VWAP right now. This is tempting at this point to be looking for a short back down, but we're in the middle of the range trying not to pull the trigger here. Did we wash? We did. We did. I'd say 28 was remaining key here. I've got a feeling they're going to try and send this for a rotation back down towards low of day here. They've had enough chances to get up. Here we go. It's starting to break down here on that bear flag. We just talked about this move. Hesitation from me, to be honest. Be watching ES into VWAP if it starts to bounce off VWAP. I think there is potential momentum for a bit of a slide downside here to come and back test some of the areas we're more interested in playing, because you've got to think about this. There's your first attempt, second attempt, there's the third, there's a lower high. We're now starting to produce lower lows. If they start to break down here, they will go for New York Open. This, and this are all achievable. Remember, we are gapping up. We were up over 700 points at one point. And then we expect buyers to come in at some point. Where do they come in? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see because they're not making it obvious on the tape. Exactly, Noah. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, I like the idea of the short, but I do not like the position of where we are right now. And like you said, what happens if this person talking says something bullish? I'm going to get absolutely wrecked in the middle of the range. And where do I risk against? Top side of the orb, I'm going to have to risk 100 points. It's gross, isn't it? Yeah, back tested overnight high is, this is pre-market high really. Overnight high here, I'd say this blue box. Let me just triple check this. Yeah, top of this blue box, I'd say. VIX cannot get through 28. Again, I'm going to wait. I am waiting here. I'm not going to get trapped here. Yeah, you're right. Pre-market high. SPY is holding its pre-market high. QQQ doing the same. ETFs are holding pre-market levels right now. Absolutely right. Nice, John. I'm not sure what you took, John, but well done. Oh, you took the short. Okay. Here we go. Market is on crack. It's on crack right now. House will look at lowering tariffs on Chinese imports pending talks with China. Any steps would be in conjunction with China discussions and not unilateral, according to a source. A source? What source? I love it when people say that. I've got a source that said this, but they won't name it. All right, and just like that, it's trying to reclaim. Second rejection of 28s there from the VIX. Still in the middle of this range, still inside your opening range. We've got 5 minutes left until we have the initial balance. This market is not looking very sexy to me right now. Tesla trying to get going here. We're just absolutely stuck up here. We talked about it in Discord pre-market. I do not want to be a buyer. I really don't want to be a buyer where we keep failing. Every time we come up here, fail, fail, fail. I want to be a buyer. Ideally, it's not going to give it to me. I want to be a buyer for the move up into here so I can hold runners through it. Don't really want to be a buyer up here. Need something to allow me to buy cheap for the move up, and it's just not going to give it to me today by the looks of it. Here we go, driving back towards high of day right now. Thank God I didn't take that short. Would have got absolutely wrecked. There is a time while I had just lost my daily drawdown, but now through this kind of circumstances, now still no trade, getting old. There was a time while I had... Oh, you're saying there was a time where you would have traded this and lost all your money. Is that what you're saying, Andres? And now you just sit down and wait. Well, I think that's the right thing to do. Market's building for a breakout here because ES still hasn't taken that 5,500. It has not taken that 5,500. And it wants to. It definitely wants to. It wants to go and rip up there, but VIX back down towards lower day here. Do we start absorbing bids here? I guess is the question. Are we absorbing bids to go and break out here? Do we build like some form of new flag in here, or is this just going to be top of range and we're going to go all the way back down? But I would think they will try and do something like this. So build some liquidity and they're going to try and do that move. If anyone's got bookmap up or looking at the level 2, what are the orders up at 5,500 on the ES? I'm interested. I imagine it's massive. I imagine there's a big seller up there. Either that or it's on the options chain on SPX because it should have gone through it. Yeah, no, definitely not looking for shorts right now. This is looking for an upside move. They had their chance and they couldn't do it, so we're going to go for an upside move here. Watching for this flag to see if they take control here. You've got that opening range at 13s. I think there's a good chance we're just going to about to swipe here. I think there's a good chance they're going to try and swipe this. It's just whether they've got the liquidity. If they don't, then the bulls get trapped again. But I think they're building out a flag to go higher here. Look at the VIX new low of day. Market's trying to move upside. Tesla now up 7%. Nvidia 5.25%. Meta just under 6%. Google 3.66%. Amazon 7.5%. Microsoft 3.31%. Apple just under 3.5%. Yeah, initial balance coming here. You're right. Very, very close to setting that IB. Range on the day for initial balance currently, and it probably will remain this, 228 points. Bias right now is upside, but we're in range. They're trying to build the flag to go higher here, I'm telling you. That's what they want to do. It's just whether they can swipe and take out this liquidity. Basically call it 19,150. That's what it's trying to swipe through. It's an old H1 high. If VIX rejects this back test of the old wick here on a 5-minute, 1725-ish, and goes lower, then I think we swipe higher. There's the rejection. There's the lower move. Now, can it print lows? Starting to add into this long here. I think we're moving up here. Stop already in the money. Looks good for this flag and breakout. Like I said, stop already in the money. Don't really want it to trade underneath the 100s. Would like it just to hold that now. Show me bids at 100, print upside. Can always re-add in if I get this wrong. I'm not going to give money back on this bit. I think we look good here. VIX new lower day. Want to see it absorb in front of 100. Fantastic. Up you go, sun. Up to 150, please. Up you go, sunshine. Come on, VIX. Get under 27 for me. Do us a favor. Under 27s on the VIX. Don't want to see bids here. Like I said, I'm moving stop up into the money. Going to be very, very careful here on that opening range. Do not want to see a failed breakout here. I do not want to see a failed breakout here. This thing has got to absolutely rip some faces through the 50s. We're looking for that liquidity. Technically it's at 147s, but we're looking for that rip through the 150s. I want pullbacks to hold in front of 100 if possible. On top of that opening range, if possible. I will be taking profit into, or at least a partial into high of day. Not much on the book. Seller in front of 150. ES still can't get up to that 500 mark. So nice hold of the opening range there. Again, I don't want this to drop beneath 100. Not interested. If it starts swiping 100, I'll get out and consider a re-entry. I think this was sort of the flag here. All right, now we're holding the opening range. That's the orb trade. Now it's going to try and trade up to here. That's the plan. Here we go. To be patient for it today. Now I know everyone's trapped. Come on. Don't you tease me like that and miss my partial. Come on, up you go. Up you go, sunshine. Yes, VIX. Here we go. Get under 27. Here we go. Partial here. Looking for 150 break now to sweep the liquidity. 147, 150. Looking for a break of that and an absolute send higher. Then we can go leg up. I'll be looking for a move then into 182s and 256s. I know I'm buying high here, but I'm buying with momentum once it's set up. Once I knew they were all trapped. Once the VIX started joining in. VIX at 27.11. Want it to dunk underneath 27 ideally, please, on the VIX. Come on, market. It's really not that hard. Go and swipe 50s, please. Not much selling here on the tape. We should just be able to move up here. If the ES is willing to get through that for 5,500. That's all the ES wants to do. It's got to get through to 5,500. Glad I got a partial off there in case it's going to be an arse. Come on. Come on. Initial balance rules apply, remember. Wonder if ES needs a pullback towards 480s or 485s before doing it. What's that mark there? 85s and 90s. Would really rather it just squeezes straight upside here. Almost there. Almost at the 50s. Go on. Go and break it. Go and swipe 47s. 50s coming up. Want ES to do the same and participate here, please. Come on. 50s now. Moving my stop up. Come on. Let's see a nice swipe higher here after stealing this liquidity. Let's just drive high. Looking really good. 50s taken. Need to be careful here. We've taken 50. I want to see it drive higher, but I need to see ES join in. I do not want to see ES fail here again. Third time, though, we should be breaking it. If we're talking about S&R, this is not a clean level now. This is the third time up here. I expect us to drive higher. Here we go. Up you go. Up you go, sunshine. Let's keep going. Little hesitation there on the ES, trading at 97s. Want the ES to participate in here and help me out. Do me a favor. Up you go. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. There's got to be a wall there on ES. There has to be something stopping it. There has to be. Move my stop up a little bit more to be proactive here. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Break that 500 ES. Stop being pathetic. Watching VIX here. VIX turning around a little bit. I need to see VIX rejects 27.25s. Moving my stop up again. I don't want to get caught in a flush if there's a big order here on the ES and I can't see it. I think we're going to trade higher here. I think there's a swipe higher coming, but I'm nicely in the money, so moving my stop up. Just want to be careful for this move here. I expect this to be absorbed and then go again. It's just how much are they going to protect that 5,500 on the ES? Like I said, it can trade back to 95s, maybe even, it's these old wicks, 90s is possible. May want to back test 90s, but you would expect them to break through here. So outmost my size now, I will add back in on dips if it starts to prove itself. Remember, we're extended from flow zones, folks. Watching to see how the ES acts here at 90, 91, 90. What's that old high on a 5 minute? 90.50. So far absorbing. I do think it wants to trade through the initial balance here. I do think it wants to trade upside. But remember, we have to be careful of a failed auction. But I'm thinking we build to go again. Just like this. Come on. VIX with a swipe now. Back up to 27.50. Flat on this now. I'll wait and I'll reload if I need to. I still think ES will get through that level, but, you know, I have to be respectful of it. It's trading inside initial balance. It will not allow us to reclaim 5,500 here yet. I think it will do it, but currently it's not doing it, and I have to respect that. If it won't do it, I have to respect it. Do we trade back down to orb here or VWAP? Possibly. Waiting now to see if it rebuilds. If it doesn't rebuild and that's a failed breakout, it's going to be a problem. We have divergence there, obviously, where NQ has taken the highs. ES has not taken the highs. So there is divergence there, and VIX trading back upside. Again, flat on this, waiting. Hold of flow zones here, hold of opening range here. Opening range currently, we pretty much dipped into it and missed it by a tick or so there. 112. VWAP at 93s. Why is my VWAP? What the hell? VWAP is not at 93s. That's Ninja Trader being complete psychopath. Moving my VWAP. Let's get that back on in the right area. There we go. All right, still holding the opening range. Still holding the flow zones. I still think there's a chance to build higher here. ES holding those dips into 90s like we talked about. And a little bit deeper, but not much. And it's building that flag. ES is getting ready to go here. Watching this initial balance high. Not much excess above that. I expect us to try and take it. If we can't take it, it's a problem. If they make a lower high, lower low here, it's a problem. Tesla now up 8.25%. Massive. Nvidia 5.5% almost. Meta 6.18%. Google 3.75%. Amazon 8.12%. Liking that China news is Amazon. Microsoft 3.55%. Apple 3.87%. Here's the flush. If they don't absorb this, we need to be respecting the initial balance. Again, I'm not in this right now. Had my trade. I'm waiting now. Nice. Claddon got it. BU got it. Very nice. To be a little bit quick on the trigger today and a bit proactive. But we took 50s. Remember, 50s were the targets. We're looking for that move to 50s, which we just swiped. If we get through that now, I'd say 95, so you might as well call it 200 and then 250. I'm just looking at H1 levels. That's what I'm looking at of where the liquidity is. There's got to be a wall there on ES. Can anyone see it? Because I don't have it up on my book map. Someone tell me, what is the size of the orders sitting at 5,500? It's got to be massive. Third time up there and not getting through it. It has to be huge. Only 500. Really? Really? So there's got to be an options wall then. There has to be an options wall on SPX. There's no way they trade up to that and don't trade through it unless there's a big old wall. No way. So is that dip towards 80? Holding flow zones. Still holding flow zones. Still holding some structure. Still has a chance to go higher here if they want to join in. Here we go. Is this enough now for that hold? Are they going to do this move now? VIX rejecting in front of 28 again. That's the over-under for VIX. VIX reclaims 28. I don't like any long today. It's clearly a big level because it's peaked there at 27.89. Earlier in the session, it peaked at 27.96. It keeps selling every time it gets up there. That's a big over-under. They're looking to form this flag or two-leg pullback to squeeze higher. The question is, are enough shorts trapped? And is there enough juice left in this? Remember, we're up 730 points right now. Up almost 4% on the day. Maybe there's just not enough juice. They're going to need shorts trapped to go higher. They will not be able to do it without it. So the question is, do enough shorts enter up here? And have they got enough caught to do this move now? If they haven't, and we reject this, this is very possible. And bias remains upside until it proves otherwise for me. Where's my phone gone? Let's see the headlines, if there's any more headlines coming here. Come on, market. Just do the move or do something so we can do something later on. How long left? I can't imagine trading this for another hour and 15 minutes. Really cannot imagine trading this for much longer. Definitely struggling. Struggling far more than it should. You would expect this just to print new highs here. It should be printing new highs here. It should not. ES should not be failing a tick in front of 500 3 times in a session. Oh, come on, market. Come on, market. Up you go. Looking good now. Up we go. Want to see market break through that initial balance high. Holding flow zones. Come on. You are pathetic. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Here we go, sunshine. Get up. Get up. Get up there. Get up there. In this long, I want to add into it if it's going to play ball. Get up there. Get up. Get back above that IB. Do not want a lower high, lower low here. That's the one thing I'm not interested in. Flush down here and I am out. Oh, no way, son. Get out of there, sunshine. Does not like that IB. Come on. Missed me by how much of a did it miss me by there? Stop was it 08? I had a little bit of room. Want it to trade back above the IB here. Really want to see it trade back above the initial balance. Here we go. Here we go. Looking for a trade back above 144, 150s to take out that high in 165 to see if it has more upside juice. ES has got to start joining in though. If it fails to join in, then this trade is, the thesis is done. ES just really struggling. Maybe we just run out of juice here on the session. About to stop me out in my runner. Out of this now and wait again. Oh, if we can't do it, I don't like a trade for the rest of the day. Well, that's what I kept asking, Willa. Everyone was like, there's only 500 contracts on ES at 5,500. It's not a lot of size. So is there a bigger wall than that? You're saying nice wall at 5,500, 5,502. What size? Because you need to be talking about thousands and thousands of contracts if we're talking about a wall on ES. That thing's the most liquid thing on the market. 500 is not a wall. That is nothing. That is absolutely nothing. No juice left in the market. It's done. It's done. And we're trading back downside now. It's run out of juice for upside move. Back into the absolute chop that we've been in all day. How are they hiding orders? They can market, but kind of hard to hide orders when it's a central exchange. This isn't an exchange like a small cap or a large cap. It's a central exchange. Everything's on CME. You will be able to see absolutely everything that goes through. There's no like little black box like you would have if you were trading through, you know, 5 different exchanges to fill. There's only one data feed, and it's CME. They're moving orders down. Well, they're looking to get filled then, aren't they? Maybe this is the 2-leg to do it. I don't know. I've lost interest, though. Totally lost interest. This market's been... we've made some money, but it's been shit, to be quite honest, today. This is one of the worst-looking markets I've seen, leaving New York session with nothing. There's a rip off a headline. There's a giant pullback. There's a push, pullback. There's another horrible candle, fail, pullback, takes liquidity, pullback, fails to get above, pullback into what? Into this. Am I going to trade in that? Am I? No way. So if we're not going to break out of here, then all I'm going to do is set price alerts for the rest of the day. Because what I'm not going to do is sit and watch this and tempt myself to do this move. So price alerts will be going down here, and down here. And maybe even like here actually, and here just in case. Just in case it offers something. But yeah, we're moved into lower time frame, lower highs and lower lows. The M5 and M15 still look very good for an upside move here. It just looks like we're repricing an M5 to go higher. But what I don't like is the VIX re-approaching that same level again. Re-approaching 28. If it starts reclaiming 28, this market might go risk off. Yeah, green but bored. Green but bored. But yes, I'm green. It wasn't a bad trade. Where did we get? How many points did we get there? We got about 50 points. It's not bad considering the range on the market has tightened up. 228 point initial balance today. I'm watching VIX into that 28 right now. Here it goes, 27.90. It's going to retest that 28. Reclaim 28. This market goes risk off. We rotate back down towards the low in this session probably. SPY back to VWAP. QQQ miles away from VWAP right now on the ETFs. SPY back to VWAP right now. It's my buddy Andrew. I'm at 39 bucks after being down. Got that last long with you. It's enough for 48 tacos in Mexico. Andrew living his life in Tulum right now. A little bit of a bid in front of VWAP on the SPY there. Yeah, there's nothing I like here. They're building this versus this, but with VIX doing what it's doing. If VIX reclaims 28, this move here can happen. We'll rejoin long if we do that. Otherwise, there's nothing to play here. I'm not looking to short into these areas. It's just gross, man. Gross, gross, gross. SPY at its VWAP. I'm going to give this, I'll give it to the top of the hour. I'm going to leave early today if we're going to just sit in this range, folks. I'm not interested in watching. We've already watched like 2 hours of action inside the opening range. I'm not interested in watching another hour into lunch inside of the opening range. We either do a decent move upside, or I'm going to leave in like between 5 and 15 minutes and just set price alerts for the next thing. I'm just going to use the bathroom, get a new coffee. I'll be right back. All right, no change. I don't know. They could have been reloading 500 price when I got there, but 500 wasn't enough to stop that kind of move alone. Yeah, Phenom, if you're using Bookmap, you'll be able to see if they got filled. If you're just watching the tape and the time and sales, you won't be able to see it. Well, I mean, you might be able to if you've got really good eyes, but it's kind of hard to see. Back inside that range, back towards New York VWAP here. SPY at its VWAP here. If they don't bid this up, they can rotate back towards the low of day and like chop it up around there, you know. Yeah, no worries, mate. Noah. Well, honestly, well done for keeping your cool. If that was what was happening in chat was a trigger for you, well done for just staying calm and trading. Not easy, like I said earlier in the session, not easy to do. Like yesterday, I was on tilt. If those of you who traded with me yesterday morning, you would have known I was looking to fade the market. It never came in. We had one trade together. It was a short and it was a scalp. And then I left with my dog. And I checked in the market twice. And to see it do that huge puke without me absolutely had me going nuts. So I banned myself from coming back and trading the rest of the day because I knew if I came back, I was absolutely going to do something stupid. SPY doing the VWAP dance right here. They've got a chance to save this here and send it back upside. What is that? Never used that before. Jesus. That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. All right, 61% retracement here. Golden zone fib. So one leg, two leg. They've got a chance to hold this to do this move back up if they want. If they start failing under here, this move becomes probable. But really, they should be trying to absorb this for the move higher right now based on this swing point. Definitely don't want that, whatever that is. All right. So into New York VWAP as well. Here, SPY trying to hold its VWAP as well. So it's kind of do or die here for the market if it's going to have a chance to go upside. If not, this is what happens. This is what happens if not. So they fail all the way back down. How nasty is that? Are they absorbing this now to go all the way back up on a flush? How big is that? 100 points. You have to laugh, man. Like, you have to laugh. This is a market where when it gives you what you want, you got to take it and move your stop in, like I talk about. You cannot mess around with this market when it does this stuff. What we're seeing here. ES back to its view up. So we found a bid there, and I say bid very lightly on the view up for ES. Didn't sweep anything. There goes VIX. VIX through to 28. That's what we were talking about. That, I would say, is a problem. Big swipe back up. This market, there's got to be something going on. What is this? Absolutely not. I can't find it. I cannot find it. What's hitting here? Here we go. Oh, Trumpy boys talking. There you go. The EU and China are ripping us off, he says. We're going to make a lot of money for our people. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. That took a little long to hit the tape. I knew something was happening. Trump will have a fair trade deal with China, he's saying. Okay. If you say so, then good. That's what we want. We want a fair trade deal. What was the size of that? Look at the volume that came in there. So they washed out all the longs, then they stopped out all the shorts who chased it down. And your ATR there back to 100 points. It's wild. It's wild, 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 wild. If you are slinging minis right now, you will be getting wrecked, all right? You do not need to be slinging minis in these markets. Micros are enough. And we're into a new hourly bar here. We've left point of control on the day now. Most of the volume on the day now at 19, just in front of 19,100. You can see it here. All right, so what I would say right now, buyers are trapped up here, trying to get that move higher that we were looking for. Lucky we take profits. Well, it's not lucky, it's just good trading. We take profits into levels. Remember I was saying 19,150. Why was I saying it? It's this guy right here. I wanted to take this set of swing stops out. Once we hit that, that was the low-hanging fruit. Any continuation would have been up for these people here, and we haven't done it yet. So now we wait. It's very possible that this needs to build out. Like I said, I would much, much rather be a dip buyer down here, down here, down here, down here. If it ever came back for me, it's unlikely. I'd much rather play something like this. Maybe later in the week, this is a trade I get. Right now, it doesn't look like the market's going to get down there. Unless something drastically changes, he's going to have to really spook the market to make it do anything like that, I would say. Watching the flow zones here, just watching how we react into these. If we're going to go and take out that Newswick candle at 105, I think it's what it's trying to do. It's trying to build up to get up to there, whether it can or not. ES held VWAP perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Lots of traders stuck in this right now. Oh. I still think market wants to move upside. It's just like, you know, the question is, can it do it, basically? Has it got enough shorts caught in the market to move upside? We've done we're 686 points up, I think, where are we now? Price now. So yeah, we were 750 odd points up. You would expect a pullback. You need shorts trapped in it. We're not going to trap shorts in it unless, you could argue this is a two leg, but something like this, if we start pivoting here, that becomes possible. Again, I'd much rather down there, but it's not showing a willingness. It was holding a 61 until we had that flash. So maybe the Trump news did enough. All right, maybe this encouraged shorts to chase. This got them stuck. If we can hold, maybe that's enough. But I mean, you're risking against news candles. You can mark these out of liquidity levels now. It's not pretty, boys and girls. It's not pretty. My bias remains upside. It's just, is there a way of joining it to get there? Very, very tricky conditions today. I would imagine either a lot of people lost or a lot of people have left. That would be my bet today. I would imagine a lot of people lost or a lot of people have already left. This looks good. We drift higher right now. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to get back above these. We get back above these. I don't know if he's still talking. I'll have a look in a minute. This is possible. Remember, respect your initial balance. Still think this wants to go higher. VIX back under that 28, that key level, that over-under level I called today, 28. We drifted back into high of New York session on the VIX, found sellers there. Let's have a look. I'll read you what else is being said. I'm not trading this. Oh, that's it. He literally talked for 5 minutes. That was it. So all he said was, the EU and China are ripping the US off. We're going to make a lot of money for our people. We're going to have a fair trade deal with China. That's all that was said. Nothing... Nothing that hadn't been said before that we didn't already know. But again, look at the news algos. Like, in the time he talked, in 1 minute, we traded from basically 19,000 to 19,100. This is what I'm talking about. These candles here are nasty. These candles here are nasty. This candle here was probably the nastiest one. These two here of the day. Market's shaky. It's shaky. This is possible. If it can't do it, if it fails up here and it starts breaking down under here, you can look for that short later in the day. But I still think this is what it wants to do. But the liquidity, there is liquidity being used here. If it can't use it to get higher, if it fails up here, don't force the short, okay? Because we're in an uptrend here. But if we start breaking down here, you do have levels you can aim for later in the day if you're looking for that short. The flow zone's fairly close together. If we move to a 2 minute, we're probably still in a buy. Yeah, we're still in a buy. I do like the 2 minute flow zones. They're pretty clean. 2 minutes in a buy, 5 minutes in a buy. If 2 minutes in a buy, everything above it is in a buy, right? Everything above it is in a buy. We're in a buy. Don't know what the hourly. What's the hourly? In a buy. And in a buy since that pullback on Tuesday. We're running out of levels to aim for. This is what we're aiming for. These are the levels we're looking to clean out. Maybe it does something like this later in the week. Would be nice. That would be really nice. And then if we do that move and we do a neckline break, then we're going to aim for these guys. Give you the channel so that you've got it. Let's do a parallel channel. This is your New York session channel right here. Like I said, it will use liquidity one way or another. You can join here, or it's going to do that. We're going to use these players one way or another. Oh my God, he's just done all that stuff with the wrong chart. Sorry, folks. All right, there you go. You can see the channel. All I'm saying is this will either get used here and you can join here for the breakdown, or we're setting this and you can join here for the squeeze up. Don't gamble in this area. This area here is not something you want to play. Look what happened here earlier. Expect the same kind of noise here. Wait. Wait. Join when it's clear and obvious. Sorry, folks. Sorry, Adam. On the wrong chart. What I might do is link all my accounts and just do a very quick trade. So I've got another trading day in. It's going to let me press close. Oh, great. And just give back some money for no reason there. Fantastic. Oh, well, no damage done. $10. Little delay closing out the trade. I was just trying to get a trading day in to make sure I've got another trading day done in my Apex accounts. Looking to take payout for like another 10 of these accounts. Maybe this week, maybe next week if I don't make it in time. Took payout in 5 of them yesterday, got another 10 left. Where am I at? You're close. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's a bit far away. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them for sure. One of them looks a bit far away, to be honest. All right, how much more time am I going to give this? 3 more minutes. I'm going to give it until 1:15. That's it. Not more than that. You're now inside this Newsweek candle. So everything's telling you range bound today until it proves otherwise. Yeah, we caught some longs, TR. We got long. Well, I got long. I think lots of the chat took it with me. Let me know who took it with me. Drop W's if you took this. I got long here for the squeeze out. And I took some partials into here. And then the rest into 150. 150 was the target, so anything above that. And then I stopped out on runners, I think around here. So I caught this move here. And then I haven't had anything else all day. Yeah, Cladden got it. BU got it. Aga got it. Thumper got it. John Dennis got it. Some others probably got it who left. No, Andrew got it. ASD got it. Yeah, terrible price action today. Yeah, DK, you're right. Euro close coming. Paul got it. There you go. John Dennis got it. Wasn't the best trade. I mean, I think it was the best trade we've been given. Just a reminder, folks, I didn't realize this was going on for an extra day. Those interested in Tradeify, this sale right now is not 30%. It's 35% sale right now with my code FCT. That will end. What day are we now? Wednesday. That will end at the end of the week. So you get an extra 5% off right now with Tradeify. Apex 90% sale for those who are interested. Again, if you're new, make sure you understand the difference in the rules. All right, make sure you understand the difference in the rules. Apex, they do have static accounts. Don't even bother doing them. They're crap. If you're going to do static, go for the growth accounts at Tradeify. They're much better. But if you're interested, if you think you can handle the trailing drawdown, Apex is good. I like trading with Apex. Like I said, I take payouts with Apex consistently, but you've got to know the difference. I trade them very, very differently. If I have a second, can I look at silver to see if you would have gotten a long trade, no worries if you don't have time. Look at silver. On the futures, you trading silver futures? Why is it showing me MXC? I don't want to see that. Where would have I got long? Here. Real simple. That is a really easy trade. Look left. RBS. Right, resistance, resistance, breakout, pullback, support, breakout, pullback, support, breakout, pullback, support. Support, sellers try once, sellers try twice, sellers try a third time. There's your rip, there's your squeeze. There's the hold of the higher time frame algo. There's flow zones reclaiming lower time frame algo. There is your buy signal right there. That is dips all day long above the initial balance, and we trade higher. Where would I take partials? I would have taken partials here and here, and everything above is a bonus. Now I'd be looking for dips back into these levels. 33,200, 33 even, basically. And clean that up for you so it makes more sense. But yeah, it's just real simple. One leg, two leg, manipulation, push, pull, there's your buy. Anytime you see flow zones reclaim the lower time frame algo, we're going. Anytime you see this, maybe you missed me earlier today. I talked about this because this was a big miss for me yesterday on the NQ. I had to go and have a look at myself yesterday. I got frustrated, but this was a big miss for me. This is Monday's price action. Right? Notice you can ignore all buys. Right? If you want to trade pro trend. See this pink line here? This is the low time frame algo that then goes blue. If you want to trade pro trend, we can just ignore all buys and just take sells, flow zone sells all the time. We reject, 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 reject. Flow zone sells versus lower time frame algo. Once we reclaim lower time frame algo, right? Tough buy here, end of day squeeze, but pull back into lower time frame algo, buy, pull back into lower time frame algo, buy. This is the same pattern that you were just looking at in silver. Same thing. Same thing is here. This is the same thing you were just looking at in silver. Sellers, manipulation, get stuck. Right, it's the same pattern. Same pattern. Right, I should have been buying this. Just being honest, I got it wrong. I should have been buying this. All these drives up. Even that fail yesterday, this is the sell I was looking for, which I missed because I was away from the desk. But even that, reclaim lower time frame algo, stacked above higher time frame algo. This is what you want to see. Higher time frame algo trending up, lower time frame algo trending up, and then you want to see our flow zones trending up. This is why today I've wanted to be a buyer. I haven't wanted to be a seller. I want to be a buyer around here. I want to be a buyer around here. Unfortunately, today, we are not coming back to the areas where I want to be a buyer. Maybe we do. Later in the week, that's what I'd want to see. Okay, starting to run out of juice here, and it's going to take this Newsweek low. If these stops get run, maybe we get down to take these guys. I don't know. And maybe we set up buys later in the day. Probably more interested tomorrow. I'm probably more interested tomorrow in buying now. As a reminder, folks, before I leave you here, because I'm going to leave early today, and there's nothing I'm interested here. You are inside initial balance. You are inside opening range. We will just build liquidity here. If it wants to create a new balanced range up here, remember the profile after this will just look like that with a gap up. And then we can think about what we do tomorrow. We open up underneath it and reject. we can trade down. We open up inside it, we trade sideways again. We open up above it, we can look for buys for continuation. Or traps underneath it also. So now you've taken that low, Newsweek low get taken. There's nothing I'm interested here. Literally, absolutely zip interest from me in trading this for the rest of the day. I will set price alerts. All right, I will set price alerts. I will be looking for key levels. This guy here, we'll be looking to see if they want to hold around here. That would be nice. This guy here and this guy here. Under here, gap fill potential. I don't think we do that. I really don't. I'll be looking for buys lower if possible, if it sets up. All right, that's it from me today. Any questions before I leave, folks? Yeah, I'm not going to sit and watch any more action like this. ES, by the way, is holding its lower time frame algos, where we just found a bid again. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome. Sorry, only one trade today. It wasn't the biggest. We got 50 points. That's all we got out of it. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. We're not going to get like monster trades every day, especially when we're gapping up 700 points. We get what we get and we move on. I will be back tomorrow. We'll go everything again tomorrow. Hopefully, we have a better session tomorrow. Hopefully, we get given a not a range. Hopefully, we get something that we can play in a trend. I don't care what way. Richard, I have a mix between... Wow. Is there more news? I have a mix between... Oh, you gotta laugh. What is this? I trade a mix between 50k and 150k accounts. What is this news? It's gotta be news. That's gotta be news. That's massive volume. We talked about it. We talked about if you get under here, there's a chance to trade down here and clean this up. I didn't think it would happen in one bloody candle for you, though. Did anyone actually take that short there that we talked about? Oh my God. Still can't see it. I keep refreshing Financial Juice. I mean, the flow zones are in a sell. Been in a sell since here. Your low-hanging fruit now is gone. Right, so the next levels, we've just cleaned everyone out. The next levels will be here and here. So just be very cautious today, folks. You can see this price action is very emotional today. Let's call it very emotional. Very whippy. Besant is talking. That's why. I thought he'd finished. No unilateral offer from Trump to cut China tariffs. So there's nothing saying we're cutting tariffs. That's what I was saying earlier. So when Wall Street Journal came out and put out that headline saying, hey, we're cutting tariffs to 50 to 60%, rumor, great. No confirmation. Trump hasn't confirmed it. And now the Fed, well, Trump's ministers and Treasury Secretary saying, yeah, there's no deal done. Full China trade deal may take 2 to 3 years, they're saying. That is not good. That is not good, folks. That is not good. That is about as bearish as you get, saying something like that. All right. No way am I trading this. This is a nutso market. But that's a fairly bearish statement there. I wonder if they retract it and take it back and say it. But we're hoping to do it in a few months or something. So just be careful. These are news algos reacting. Be very, very careful. So let me go back to the questions before I leave you all. Can I do a quick run on why you use higher time frame and lower time frame? Yes. I can do that for you quickly. As in the algos or just in general? Or it's the same thing? All right. Think about this chart here being an hourly chart. All right. So this is a 1 hour chart. Inside here, can I draw again? Let's call this an M5 or an M2 or an M1 chart, whatever you want to call it. You have this. Okay. This can be lower time frame. This action here is happening inside this. Does that make sense? Think about the swing points. Where's my color? This high, this high, this low, this low, this high, this high, this low, this low, this high, this high, this low. I did it a little bit lower, but here. Do you get the point? Okay, so you need to understand what's going on. If the higher time frame wants to go up, what's the easiest way to trade this? To trade this leg here. This leg here is a counter trend. That's a hard trade. That's a hard trade. This leg here is the pro trend. 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 So when I came to the charts today, why did I originally want to trade higher? What's the hourly doing? Here's the hourly trend. Right? I want to buy it somewhere around here. Now, the news might change this completely, but I'm looking to buy lower time frame to go higher because the hourly trend wants to go higher. What's the trouble now? Well, we've swept low-hanging fruit and news is coming out, which is fairly negative. Yesterday, why was I fixated on the sell? I'll tell you why. I wasn't convinced we were going higher yesterday. Even though this is the hourly trend, we were coming up to such a big level. My thought was this would be a trap for the hourly to remain going lower. That's where my head was at yesterday, which is why I was looking for sells. I got it wrong, and we gapped up. Right, so that's why the lower time frame and higher time frame matter. Now, if we think about the algos that I've built, this is higher time frame, and this is lower time frame. Right, the higher time frame algo will support this action, and the lower time frame algo will be a bit more reactive and support this action. So when they're both set going upside, we want to be trading upside. I'm glad you stay so you can see I told you 18,900. I mean, it's a bit of an arrogant statement that. Did you know that they were going to give news saying that we were definitely going to go for 3 to 4 years? I mean, there's no guarantee that we were going to do that move. But like I said, I'm happy for it to come lower. Where are my buy zones, Raphael? I'm looking to buy lower. Like I said all morning, I want it to come down here. That's absolutely fine with me. I'm less interested in buying now, given the sentiment change. Yeah, lower time frame for entry, absolutely. Lower time frame for entry. You're not entering off a higher time frame unless you're trading H1. If you're trading off H1, you can trade off that. But I'm executing lower time frame in higher time frame areas. Like, let me just take all this off. Let's make this really simple. Here's an hourly chart. Where did we find buyers in the last hourly chart? Where's our pullback? Breakout, pullback. Breakout, pullback. Where would we expect to find buyers right now? Here. Again, we have bad news right now. But this is where, if sentiment was good. So we go to lower time frame. What are we looking for? We're looking for this move from this area, lower time frame to show us a shift. And then we'd have confluence if flow zones started to support that action to go back upside. Again, it's unlikely we're going to see that right now, given the sentiment shift that's just been said, that we're going to have to wait 3 to 4 years for any deals to be done with China. Let's see if they retract this statement. I would not be surprised if they're made to retract the statement. China's situation needs to be de-escalated for trade discussions to proceed. I do not have a time frame for a start of China talks. They will have to take place at lower levels than Trump and Xi. Then why are you saying 2 to 3 years there? Idiot. Tariff negotiations will not be an extended process at all. Again, then why are you saying 2 to 3 years? I'm expecting current tax policies to be extended and a great part of that to be permanent. Trump reference to power termination may refer to the expiration of his term. It's definitely not what it referred to. He did a post on Twitter asking if people thought we should fire him. Fucking hell. Just stop the lies, man. It just makes you look stupid. US-China tariffs will likely have to come down for trade negotiation talks. Rates are unsustainable. Both the US and China are waiting to speak to each other. Both sides see current tariff situation as unsustainable. Besant declines to comment on the Wall Street Journal story of lowering tariffs in China, but would not be surprised if they went down in a mutual way. Here we are. So back down to Globex here. That is the best statement ever, JD Florida, man. I absolutely love that. I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. I'm going to borrow that. That's so good. I'm trying to get out of here, man. But like now they're starting to do the moves. Now they're starting to do the moves. These are the levels that we were looking at. Second blue box here, where we might find bids. We were talking about this level down here. So I'm still going to leave. I'm going to make myself leave. Failed auction will be a reclaim of this to go back upside. We are so far initial balance here. If we reject this, there's a chance to trade into this and all the way down here if possible. Remember, a sentiment shift came right here when they said it's going to take 2 to 4 years to do a China deal. Right? Boom. 150 points. News is moving the market this morning. This is nothing to do with technicals. I mean, there are technicals, but it is the flip-flop policy moving the market. ES and SPY have just traded right back to the 20-day and trying to find a bid there. Possibly Phenom. Possibly, yeah, if you're thinking about that trade back down lower and underneath. Possibly. I'd say if 18,800 holds... Anywhere from where we are now, if we're looking at these levels here, I'd say if this guy here, why does it do this? It drives me mad. If this guy here holds or this Globex high holds, there's possibly a trade back on up. If they let go of this, we trade back down to Globex. If they let go of Globex, they either need to do the trap to go back higher or we go for a complete fill. I would find it very surprising if we do a fill here, but if they're very negative with their talk, which so far they've been in the last 20 minutes, then they will price that in. This is what I'm saying. When people got upset this morning, the market has to price in constantly. We are futures. We are looking ahead, right? So any statement that's made, we try and price in straight away. If they're going to give stupid statements, we're going to price it in. If they're going to walk that statement back, we're going to price it in. Why is the market so Yankee and hard to trade right now? Because none of these people can make their flipping minds up. All right. Oh, we're 10% tariffs. We're 145% tariffs. We're 250% tariffs. We're 10% tariffs. We're 90-day pause tariffs. How are we supposed to price that in? And then you've got earnings calls where the CEOs have to come on afterwards and they go, hey, this is what the future prospect looks like. But it's hard for us to say because we don't even know what the tariffs are. Then you've got this idiot coming out saying that it's going to take 2 to 3 years to do a deal and then saying, but, you know, we all need to do a deal. Well, what are you saying? You're contradicting yourself. Right? That's why the market is moving so janky, because it cannot form a steady trend because we're not giving it steady information. If we were saying things like, we expect towards the end of the 90-day pause that deals will be done with all countries. Our anticipation is that the deals will be done at 10% tariffs. We think we will get US GDP up to this rate. We think inflation will come down to this rate. We can anticipate 3 rate cuts this year. If you give it constant, slow, steady, bullish sentiment, we will constantly go up slow and steady. If you're giving it bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, very bullish, this is what you get. You get this kind of market, right? We are reactive. This is just how the market works. We're reactive to what information we're given. Yeah, like that's just how it is. This is not an easy trader right now. Like you've seen, how many news events have we had today? Well, we gapped up off a news event, which is number 1. There's your Wall Street Journal event, number 2. There is 945 PMI. There is housing. There is Trump talking. Now there is Besant. With a gap up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 news events already to deal with. And the market cannot make its mind up. All right, that's why. All right, folks, I'm definitely getting out of here. Out of here. What can you look for? Very simple. Auction lower, failed auction, trade back inside to view up. Those are your plays for the rest of the day. Once we get down here, you would expect buyers to try and come in and save the day, just based on structural points. I think you can even move this up to here. All right, so if they can hold here, there's a chance to trade higher. If they fail these levels and they keep giving negative talk, we go all the way back down. Momentum right now is downside. We've had a big shift in the last 20 minutes to downside. And hopefully tomorrow we get some, like, you know, I would really like it if everyone could just calm down and give the market some nice, steady, easy sentiment, which makes sense. If we can have 4 days in a row of saying the same thing, that would be really useful, wouldn't it? All right, everyone. Big love. See you tomorrow morning. If you haven't learned, you're going to learn the hard way. You got to use hard stops in this market, all right? You will learn the hard way if you've not learned already. And take care. Size down. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace and love.